Oh, buddy, what is going on, guys? We're taking a look at the PMP Titano today. I did an unboxing on this knife, and I've done some shorts on this knife, but I haven't really done a full review on this. So, full disclosure or spoiler alerts, this is my favorite PMP knife I have ever owned or handled, and my top choice if you want an overbuilt, really cool, well-made, obnoxious knife. I think you can still get these here and there, but you got to jump. You got to get on it quick because once they're gone, they're going to be gone. So this is a collaboration between PMP Knives, which is a designer who then outsources to various manufacturers and collaborates with other knife designers. A collaboration between PMP Knives and Maxace, and you guys know how much I love Maxace. Now, I assume, and I know what you're going to say, you shouldn't assume, but I assume that Maxace was the OEM is all. I don't think they actually designed it. Maybe they had a little say here or there, but there is an actual knife designer behind this. I'll link all that information down below, but it's all under the PMP umbrella, and then I assume manufactured by Maxace. But this particular version has a little, or not version, but this particular knife has a little bit more going on than what you see with a lot of PMP knives in general. Most PMP knives, they're kind of known for the overbuilt, obnoxious stuff. They've kind of toned that down on a few different knives, and they've done some kind of sleeker flippers and things like that. But for the most part, they're known for doing giant bruiser knives. Most of the times they have their knives made in China. Sometimes they have them made in Italy, though, by Fox Knives, which is the case with the latest release of the newest version of the Alpha Beast. It was done in Italy. Super expensive, though. It's not selling too well, it looks like. But anyways, so what do we have here? We have a shovel blade. I guess let's just start with the blade. Let's just talk about it. That's what I like. I like to just talk about it. We have, all I can do but to describe this as that sentence makes no sense. All I can do is to say that this is basically a sharpened spatula. Look how wide this is. Full flat grind, or not full flat grind, but flat ground all the way up at the top. Got this swedge up here with almost like a harpoony type thing, but not quite. And this really stout, Americanized Tanto, I guess, like little pug snout nose looking thing right here. Razor sharp, by the way, very, very sharp. Now down here, it's a very robust edge, but it's not as thick as you might think. This stock is decently thick. It's not that crazy, but it thins out a lot as it comes down here. Now this, though, this is a sharpened pry bar when you get onto this front edge right there. And that's what this is made for. This is made for digging things out, prying doors open. You can use this stuff down here for cutting whatever it is you need to cut, whatever material you want to cut. It's really good at that. This thing slices pretty dang well. I mean, considering. M390 with a really nice stonewash finish on there. You've got thumb hole opening, which is the primary opening method in my opinion. And then you've got this kind of stubby little flipper here. It's set kind of low and it's kind of close to the frame, so it doesn't work all that well. You can see if I don't do any wrist action, it kind of just flops open. Personally, if I could make a design choice, I would say ditch this. We don't need it. I know in the prototype it wasn't there. I don't know what made them decide to include it. I guess because they could, but I'm kind of the mindset if you design an opening method in your knife and it's not very effective, it's better just to leave it off, even if you have another method, right? If that makes any sense. So I'd rather them not have that flipper at all. Look at how this is shouldered right there onto this huge stop pin embedded in both sides of the flamed titanium right here. Really robust lockup. Look how it just fully shoulders right in there. Boom. Bank vault. That's the definition of bank vault. Steel lock bar insert, really good lock geometry. This does not budge at all. Speaking of the titanium, this is my favorite configuration of this knife. They got a couple different colors, different anodization, raw titanium, things like that. This has the really cool pinstriped heat anodizing. Like, I don't know how they do this. I don't know if it's a micro torch but it looks really cool, and it gives it kind of a subdued matte-like finish, but then adds some detail. Looks really, really nice. Another thing that I like on this knife a lot is the hardware. It's all custom flathead hardware. It's all uniform. Looks really, really nice. Most PMP knives do not have that. Most of them have just Torx, you know, standard Torx hardware, nothing crazy, nothing special. This one has custom hardware that looks really nice. I also like this over travel disc that's domed, and then it's chamfered on the inside. It looks really, really nice. All the functions on this is superb. It's running on bearings. There's no detent lash. It's nice and centered. Really good action, really thunky, really, really fun to play with. The only thing I would say is this is a little sharp right there. You have plenty of room to get your thumb in, but there is a bit of an angle there. It's not too bad. I like all the room they give you, all the real estate to get your thumb in there. I really hate it when they don't do that, and it feels like your thumb just is not going to fit inside there. So really good job on there. Nice and chamfered around all the edges. You've got this extended backspacer hole for a lanyard right there. You've got gear patterns all over this thing for grip if you do it in the reverse grip, just like that. The ergonomics are really good, honestly, with the exception of it's a little bit, not for me, but I could see if you have really big hands, really chunky fingers, this distance here might be a little close. Like for me, it's perfect, but if my hands were any bigger, it might feel a little bit cramped in between this distance here. So keep that in mind. If you've got like XXL mitts, it might feel a little bit cramped. I've got about large size hands. I just have long fingers and kind of a big palm width, but my actual, like, my fingers aren't very thick and my hands aren't very thick, if that makes sense. So I don't know how you classify that size, because I have to wear XL gloves, but only because my fingers are so long, not because they're so thick and chunky, if that makes sense. Let's get some specs on here. Probably should have done that earlier, but it's heavy. It is heavy, as you can imagine. No surprises there. 11.3 ounces. Let's do a comparison to a Paramilitary 2. Much larger than a Paramilitary 2. It is a big Mamma Jamma monster boy who is in charge. And let's take a look at that pocket clip. Milled titanium pocket clip. It kind of resembles kind of a butcher knife, like a fixed blade. It's got these chamfered holes in here, which is a nice touch. It actually goes in and out of the pocket superbly well with a perfect amount of tension. You might see a pocket clip like this and say, that can't be functional. It's got to not work very well. And it actually works quite well. Semi-closed construction. I mentioned the gear pattern backspacer here that turns into the lanyard hole. Let's be honest. You know, this is more of a conversation piece. It's more of a pocket jewelry thing. However, it is more than capable of anything you throw at it. It is built super robust, put together very, very well, really good materials. And like I said at the beginning, it's my favorite design from PMP that they have done. I absolutely love this guy. I almost wish I would have gotten another one, maybe the blacked out version. But this is by far my favorite configuration. Let me know down below, what do you think of the Titano? Whenever I show this knife, it gets a lot of attention, a lot of negative attention, positive attention. Where do you fall on the spectrum? Is this something you would ever want to own? Or rather, do you see any kind of value in a knife like this? Let me know down below. I'll talk to you later.